The sun has finally risen and now we are at the Buland Darwaza. This is called the Gate of Magnificence. Buland Darwaza serves as the main entrance for the Jama Masjid complex which is inside the Fatehpur Sikri fort. This massive gate is the highest in the entire world and it was built in 15th century by Akbar to commemorate his victory over Gujarat. There was a custom of nailing horseshoes on the doors for divine intercession. There are 3 entrances into the Fatehpur Sikri complex. Inside the complex, loud music filled the air. The tomb of Salim Chishti was constructed by Akbar as a mark of his respect for the Sufi saint who foretold the birth of Akbar's son.
अनारकली का स्टूडेंट अनारकली नौकरानी थी। अकबर के लड़के सलीम से मोहब्बत करती थी। अकबर को पसंद नहीं था कि नौकरानी मेरे लड़के से मोहब्बत करे। अनारकली को चुनवा ही नहीं था। केवल दुनिया की नज़रों में दिखाया था कि अनारकली को फकर की दीवार के अंदर चुनवा दिया। वही रास्ते यहाँ से 3 दिन जाता है। आगरा, आगरा से दिल्ली, दिल्ली से लाहौर पाकिस्तान। अनारकली को लाहौर पाकिस्तान भगा दिया और दुनिया की नज़रों में दिखा दिया कि अनारकली को फकर की दीवार के अंदर चुन दिया।
The Imperial Palace complex encloses more than 15 monuments. In the same Juma Masjid complex, after walking a few meters, you will get to see the Jodhabai Palace. So this palace was constructed by Akbar himself for his favorite wife, that was Jodhabai. And you may see the Muslim and Hindu amalgamation of architecture when you go and view this palace. Corresponding to the style used in Hindu architecture, the main palace has a courtyard around which the entirety of the palace is built. The living quarters are all built after keeping the courtyard as the center of the complex. The beauty of the red sandstone charms you the moment you step within the vicinity of the Jodhabai Palace. The Mughals were pretty fond of lush green gardens that used to have beautiful blooms every day. This is Panch Mahal, which is located inside the Jodhabai complex itself, and it is a 5-storied architectural monument which was used for pleasure and recreation activities by the ladies in the court. So this is something fascinating and it's quite interesting. So the Panch Mahal is also called as Wind Tower or Battery. Let's explore the different monuments. This monument here is Diwan-e-Khas, which is also known as Jewel House. So it was used by the Emperor Akbar to meet his private guests and dignitaries. So what's unique about this Jewel House is the center pillar, which is differently designed. The House of Turkish Sultan is believed to be the palace of Akbar's favorite Turkish queen, Sultana Begum. This is a square building, etched in floral and geometric patterns built in red sandstone. The interior and exterior of the palace are beautifully ornated with carvings and it has a balcony on each side. We noticed the heads of all the birds were cut off, the reason being multiple. On the other side of the House of Turkish Sultan is a pretty tank called Anup Talab. The balustrade platform in the center was intended for imperial amusement and private function during the reign of Akbar. The tank used to be filled with perfumed water. Daulat Khana were Akbar's private quarters, which composed of 2 rooms on the ground floor and a well-ventilated pavilion on the first floor. The room on the ground floor was Emperor's library, which also served as a dining hall. The ground story of Birbal's house is made up of 4 rooms and 2 porches, while the upper story is made up of 2 rooms and open terraces enclosed by screens. The most probable occupants of this palace had been Akbar's 2 senior queens. This is one of the dazzling buildings of imperial harem. Diwan-e-Aam, known as the Hall of Public Audience, was the place where Akbar heard petitions of the general public seated along the western wall. It was built to utilize an ecosystem so Akbar could hear anything at any time from anywhere. A large courtyard along with a garden dominates the northeast entrance at Diwan-e-Aam. Archaeological museum is at 100 meters from the Diwan-e-Aam. It is called the Treasury Building, a centrally protected monument. The museum showcases both pre-Mughal and Mughal artifacts excavated at Fatehpur Sikri. From the excavations, they also found utensils which were used back then. It always makes us wonder how people at that time managed to build such marvelous piece of refined architecture.